I'm Patricia Finney and I write historical novels and ordinary novels. And this is very exciting for me because I have found a supernova in a medieval Latin hymn. The Latin hymn is called Stella, splendens in Monte, and it comes from a book called the Liber Vermel of Montserrat, which means the red book because of the cover, the binding. And it's about, it's about a star, really. It means, the beginning, the first lines mean, Stella splendens in Monte, ut solis radium, means a star shining with rays like the sun. Very interesting. Now, usually when you sing a Latin hymn, which I was singing this Latin hymn with a local choir, you don't really notice the words because most of the time you can't say them, you don't understand them. But this one, suddenly it caught my attention. I thought, oh, that's funny. A star shining like the sun, that's impressive. So I thought, well, maybe, and I actually did a little video about this, maybe it's a supernova, but really, I thought, oh, it's probably a comet or Venus. And so the next day, I hit Google, and blow me down, there was a supernova at the beginning of the 14th century, somewhere around 1320. Plus or minus 20 years. There have been 4 supernovas in the last 1,000 years. They're not that common, certainly not on our time scale. And the 4 supernovas, there was one in around 1054. There was one which is known as Kepler star in 1572. And there was another one known as Tycho's star in 1604. And it's very clearly known, been known since 1998, that there was a 4th supernova during the 14th century, but for some reason nobody had seen it. Nobody. There wasn't a mention of it in the Chinese or the Japanese records, and they usually notice guest stars. There isn't anything in Europe. Nothing. Why not? Well, I think it's because it was absolutely pouring with rain at the beginning of the 14th century. 1315 and 1317 were notoriously horrible, rainy, dark, cloudy years, and the weather was so terrible and so wet that there was a serious, the crops failed, and there was a serious famine that lasted till 1322. So I think probably what happened was that the weather was too bad. Nobody could see the supernova because there were too many clouds in the way, except near Barcelona, where they saw something wonderful. And of course, because the mountain Montserrat was sacred to the Virgin Mary, clearly the star was about her and showed her demonstrating, and there's a bit at the end of the hymn which says this, showing herself to her people, so they could feel her and see her and sense her in heaven. And so one of the other interesting things is the way that the people reacted. Everybody ran to see it. Everybody ran along, and rich and poor, old and young, secular and religious, everybody was on their knees singing Ave Maria. Tremendous excitement. That was the other thing that tipped me off, that this was not just Venus. So what I want people to do, astronomers and medieval historians, need to run to Barcelona and look at the records, because somewhere in there, I bet you've got some more clues to the supernova that happened around 1320. Somewhere in there you'll find something saying something about it. And as for me, well, I did a little dance when I first found the entry, a New Scientist article. I did myself a little dance because I thought it was a supernova, and it was. Hooray! And you can read more about this. I've written a blog on my normal blog, which is patriciafinney.com, and well, I'm still excited. I'm going to go off and dance where nobody can see me. Okay, bye. Patricia Finney. Bye.